Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Wow. Huh, how crazy. Hmm. I'm streaming right now for you if you want to watch.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation.
Okay.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and...
Alright, we're doing a tutorial vid.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Fuck. Oh, well, I guess I gotta listen to the narrator. Y'all, my girlfriend actually, like, hates me so much, believe it or not, bro.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Like,
he
she
entered the door on his left.
despises me. She even hits me. Like, she hits me hard. Dude, guys, if y'all
Yet
can,
there was not a
please
single
help
person
me.
here
She
either.
hits me so hard.
Feeling
I
a wave
can't
of
go through it. I
disbelief,
think, like,
Stanley decided to
help
go
me.
up to
She
his
doesn't even
boss's
like me.
office,
She doesn't
hoping
even
he
like me.
might find an answer there.
Guys, SOS, SOS. She said if she ever found out I said something like this, she'd beat me. She'd beat me to a bloody pulp. She said, I'm gonna give you a fucking black eye.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Please
office.
help me, guys.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
No!
His
Stop
boss
hitting me,
would think he was
please.
crazy.
Please.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe
That hurts.
I
Like,
am
actually,
crazy.
stop.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in
You're
a
gonna
single
actually hit
moment
me?
for no
Stop,
reason
please
at
don't.
all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently
You're gonna hit me
float
because you
above
don't
the
love
ground.
me? What the fuck?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too
Stop!
appeared.
Ow!
It was so
Ow!
much
Ow!
fun,
Ow!
and Stanley marveled that he had
Ow.
still not woken up. How was he
No!
remaining
Stop
so
hitting me,
lucid?
please!
And then perhaps the strangest question of
Please
them all
stop!
entered
It
Stanley's
hurts
head.
so much.
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in
Oh,
my head
oh,
dictating
oh.
everything that I'm doing and thinking?
She's
Now
hitting
the
me,
voice was
guys,
describing
bro. She
itself being
fucking
considered
punches like
by
Mike
Stanley,
Tyson.
who
Holy
found it
shit.
particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
She does
the
hit
truth
me.
was
Look at
of
that
course,
disgusting
this was
profile
not a
picture.
dream.
She obviously hits
How
me.
could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take
You have a
responsibility
fucking
for himself.
regurgitated
Stanley
My Little
is
Pony
as
profile
awake right
picture. I don't
now
know what
as
you
he's
mean.
ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice
Ow!
speak these
Stop,
words was quite a
please.
shock to Stanley.
My eyes
After all,
hurt.
he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that
I'm
this was
starting
in
to
fact a
bleed.
dream.
Please stop hitting me.
Did the
I'm
voice
for
not
real.
see him
Stop.
float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
You're gonna
This
bite my
voice was a
dick
part
off?
of himself
Oh,
too,
no.
surely. He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside
Ow!
this one.
Stop, please. I'm serious.
Let
Stop.
me wake up.
Stop.
He thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job.
She fucking
Let me
hates
continue
me.
pushing the buttons.
Hates me. She
Please.
hates me.
It's all I want. I want my
She told me
apartment.
to kill myself.
And my wife,
See what she does
and
to
my
me,
job.
guys?
All I
She
want
hates
is my
me.
life exactly
She actually
the way
hates
it's
me.
always been.
You're gonna
My
take
life is normal.
titty pictures away from.
I
Okay,
am
no. That's far. That's far.
Everything will be fine.
That's way too far. Why would you do that?
I am okay.
Ow! Ow! Stop hitting me!
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What the fuck? Yo! My girlfriend hits me. She hates me.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh my god. She takes my titty!
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Ow!
She
Ow!
arose, got
Ow!
dressed, gathered
Stop!
her belongings, and
Stop!
walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead
Guys,
on the sidewalk.
I muted myself.
And although
She,
would soon turn
look,
to go call
she's
for an
threatened
ambulance, for just
to
a
take
few
away my
brief
titty
moments,
pictures
she
50
considered
million
the
times
strange
already. She
man.
hits me so hard,
He was
but
obviously
she only hits me on my
crazy. This
stomach.
much she knew.
And she makes me wear
Everyone
long
knows
sleeve
what crazy
shirts
people
so
And in
people
that
don't find
moment,
out she cuts me.
thought to herself how lucky
And she makes
was
me
to
wear
be
makeup on
born.
my eyes so she
I
doesn't,
am
so
saying
people don't see that I have a
am
black
in
eye.
control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had